all these different churches that believe in their God. Right? Thank you guys. We're all here to listen to Kakarot. If you got all these different churches preaching to their God, saying their God, how come that one person themselves, and this is stop the war, how come that one person themselves has been invited, and we can't invite them? The government can't invite them. You understand what I'm saying? The powers that be, as far as whatever, if the president's higher than the government, but yet the president has to ask for permission to do things, who does he have to ask? And who's to say those people don't have to ask? Right? So it's a never-going ending saga. Still has no way to invite anyone. To be invited in this world, God has to invite you. How come nobody's church, this is everybody, Christian, Catholic, Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, Buddha, whatever. This is why this is stop World War III. This is stop a religious war. How come no one's God has invited themselves, to come and teach about him? Think about that before anyone throws the next blow at someone else, saying their God is the God. How come nobody's God allowed them to come forth and present him to everyone else? Why do they stay quiet and only amongst themselves? When the Bible prophesies of the person he sent, the woman he sent, the angel he sent, or angelus, or the people he sent, was able to introduce God to the world. Because you got to think, what's the purpose of sending someone? To teach them of something they don't know about me. But I would have had to have taught it to the person I'm going to send, so they can teach it to us. Henceforth, the word, the message, the point of what God wanted for that point, that period, that time, was introduced by someone he sent. So the world believed in the person he sent. Again, how come no church has produced an invitation of anyone to come and speak to any of us, let alone themselves? Think of that. And from whatever they're teaching you and I to believe is what to learn, how come no one has been sent to talk? And you look at every church. So this doesn't point at one church. Look at everyone that believes in what they believe in, and not one of them got sent either. This would stop war. No one could fight. No one could war with anyone, because God wasn't with you either. And God isn't with that person either, but still, you couldn't fight, because they're fighting saying God is with me. No, God is with me, when he ain't even with none of them. So people are about to die for something that doesn't even exist, as far as what they are believing and willing to die. They're about to die and kill each other for it, and it doesn't even exist. It's not real. What would be real is God, not just you. He would have sent you to impact someone else so they can believe in God, and God would have been able to find them. They now have God. They're your witness. They're going to help, and it spreads. Because if God appeared to you That means God is real. You now know how to appear God to everyone else. So they know God is real. Now everyone lives under this real God. Not just they believe. They would know him. And because of that introduction, you saved people's lives because God is real. And he's not something to harbor in and hold in to yourself and not actually live in it and be able to live in it with someone else. It's all his creation. Everything's his earth. Everything's his world. Everything's his love. It's only the separation. It's only one separation that was between the evil one. Casting out the evil one. Who anyone should understand would be God that isn't like that. Think about that. If God is love, his only counterpart would be if he wasn't like that. So you're really battling a God that would treat you bad versus the real God that wouldn't do that. That becomes the Antichrist. Because it's the opposite of what you believe in. It's the opposite of what would save you. It's the opposite of what would love you and you would love it back. And not, it wouldn't cheat you, it wouldn't misuse you, it wouldn't abuse you of what you are earned and what you work for, what you're worth. That's the difference. So that's how you got to stay aligned. Thank you guys. That becomes, yes, thank you. That becomes what God is all about. Thank you. You just don't want to lose that favor you have in yourself, because it's in you. That's the purpose of being his child. God created all of us, so it's always in you, this relationship. It's really, even though it's whether you choose or not, it's really if you belong to him or not. Little do you know, God split it. I think the only death that occurs is his children. God split it. He says to the woman who's the mother of God's children, your children, and he says to the serpent, the devil, your children. So it's only two sets of kids on the earth. God's, via way of Eve, the woman, the mother, giving birth through her, all his children. Then you have the devil and his children, which you would understand, why did this person just do that and mess up everything for everyone? It wasn't an accident. Satan has his children. So nothing ever goes wrong with God. The accident, or not accident, the intention comes from the devil causing it. But because he has his children as well, disguised as me and you, you'd probably shook that person's hand who went and shot everybody today. And it's like, that's what you guys got to understand. You're in a world with his children. So when things just so happen to went that way, it wasn't an accident. It's his children. And you see, the victims are only God's children, for they knew what they were doing. All these innocent people get killed. That's on purpose. And as soon as you see the mind, it's not some crazy lunatic. You guys got to understand, these things don't happen like that. And someone of God wouldn't hurt someone of God. So it's never because God sent this person to hurt you. It doesn't work that way. If a prophet, which wouldn't have hurt you, and if a prophet came, they had the power to heal you. So displaying this hurt or this anger, you'd have been healed from it, to show the difference and to teach you never accept people treating you like this. For it would have been a prophet. So the teaching would have been amongst the teaching. That's why you would have accepted it. Or if a king gets angry, and because he's your king, you're willing to bow down, and whatever they choose to do, you're willing to take it, because you know their heart is always going to be your king. So you're always able to accept that. Thank you. That's how that's the loyalty. But it still comes with the fact that you would be safe attached to it. Versus the devil as Pharaoh, would just hurt you, abuse you, punish you, trick you, slave you for no reason. That's the difference. And he's trying to get you to see. He's trying to get you to see, just as God is the Father that is showing us love and can be with us, and if we were to fall, he'd pick us up and hold us. Well, the devil's able to do that with his children. He can talk, he can whisper, he can tell them, hey, go do this for me. If God tells you to go speak to the world on his behalf, it's going to bless. The devil can go tell some leader to oppress this country and start a war with these people. And that's his child. And best believe, in a world only one voice is heard, God wouldn't have told this person to do that. So it would have only been relevant to understand what voice these people have to. And this is where we come. If God is oppressed, as I say, let's keep Jehovah away from everyone. That voice, that's only one voice anyway, is what? Oppressed. So what voice just so happened would be speaking up freely, talking? The misleading one. You would have to listen to the voice of the oppressed one. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, Nick. Thank you. God bless you. I didn't see it. So you'd be listening to that. I'm gonna say it one more time. If God is the only person that would have been talking to you, but God is oppressed and you're being taught something else, who would be leading you now? You see what I'm saying? That's what you guys, that's everybody. That's religion right now. What's telling you, I got your back? And it doesn't. If God says, who doesn't keep their word when I will always keep my word? What is he challenging you to see? How much his word is kept? Or is he challenging you to see the individual that wouldn't keep theirs? Think about that. If I'm God that don't want you hurt by something that's going to lie to you and is promising you something, wouldn't it have to promise you something? If I'm warning you about the promise and it may be so good you can't help but go, and he's telling you this is the person's power to lure you and make you believe, give you a false sense everything's okay, who would you have to go to get that? Because if the TV described this person as the devil that's here to trick you, hurt you, and do that, you're not going to fall for that. So who is God telling you their word sounds good, but it's full of traps? Because it wouldn't be the devil. Think about it. Who can compare to God? It wouldn't be some stranger, some devil, some evil person. It would have to be the same thing he's asking you to never trust. If I'm the God of all gods and I tell you don't put no other God before me, I'm already warning you who's coming to try to get you to come. I'm the God, don't put no other devil before me. You would have already common sense known not to put a devil before God anyway. He wouldn't have had to tell you that, which he didn't tell you that. He says don't put no other God before me, because that's who he knows is coming. It's gonna be a God. It's God himself. Think, who would tell you a word and give you a promise and not keep it? It wouldn't be the devil, because you wouldn't have trusted him. The only person that could have told you something and you prayed in your heart to believe it would have been a God coming to appear to give it to you. And if God says, many will come in my name, many will blaspheme my name, use my name, they're using God. That's his name. So someone's coming saying they're God. And not that we will believe it, we have believed it. It has worked. Because right now, God is saying no. And we know to shut up and go sit down. And God has already told us that's not how he is. So right now, God beat you over the head and say, let me hit you 100 times and then you can have it. And you get knocked out by the first couple blows. Wake up, don't even remember you had a agreement with him. And then he finally says, let me send the devil to you to hurt you and test you and do all these things so you can worship me and show you love me. And no one understands that's it right there. If God is a God that hates bad things happening to you, why would the person that does all these bad things to you be who he sends to you? That's the first. Remember, God works to see if you're listening. Now, God would never bring murder to you, right? He'll protect you. But then he'll bring the murderer who started murder. Murder has to listen to the devil. So if God protected you from murder, but brought the killer, the murderer to you, he didn't keep you that safe, did he? So that's already a catch. See, it's not that the Bible goes back. God is seeing if you're listening. If God tells you don't put purple juice mixed with pink juice, for it will make you become confused, and you put purple with pink anyway, and you become confused, that's not doubling back. That's warning you. I see it as warning, because there's just, the Bible contradicts itself. He never contradicts himself. You're not looking. Everything is towards himself. And if Israel is riding with him, everything is for them. Henceforth, Israel teaches the world, everything is for the world, for themselves. All of us. All because we are with God. God is with us. We have his salvation only because he chose us. And if that's the key of it, everything belongs to them. So if God teaches them not to kill people, they now have become adapted to spare life. Then if the next chapter he tells them to go kill, is because they are ready to distinguish the difference. They learned not to kill. So now that hunger, if he was to release them before, they probably would have went wild and just start killing everything. So because he taught them how not to do it, they are well trained and disciplined. For when the act comes, they know the difference. They are well trained and disciplined not to just kill everyone, only who they're here to kill. Why? Because they learned not to kill. So it'd be as easy as who not to kill. And who God tells them to kill, excuse me, TikTok, not saying that, who God tells them to go and handle that and kill, they would go and do it. This is the Bible. Don't get me bad. I just got back. Yeah, God would tell people with false promises. Thank you. Yes. Don't do it. I just got back. Don't do it. You see how you get me you see how I get misunderstood? Just because the word can't bring the action. The definition of that word brings it. The word itself doesn't present the danger. Thank you, Captain. Thank you. I appreciate that. The word itself does not present the danger. The definition of that action in you, in my, our hands. The devil, unless the devil killed you himself, he would have had to use me or you to do it. So the key is not giving him that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have no army other than this little sorry army he's obviously pathetic with, because he needs to use us. Think about that. A fair fight, he would have just challenged us and let God go. So interference from an army is his method. Tactic. Try to use someone. Versus just fight. Whew. This is heavy, man. This is heavy. So my point for that, the reason I even broke those two down, the whole reason why I broke that down, in history, God has only been presented to you one way, by the mouth and hands of someone else. Henceforth, your whole relationship with God is built on the fact of someone else presented it to you and gave you the opening of how to have it, which is now in a leadership of false prophecy, false leadership, because of the thought consideration for someone to have presented his name in the fashion of gospel and holiness, henceforth saved everyone's life through the commandment and the control that was unhinged behind it, telling everyone to do so, to represent God. And because no one has been alive for these hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of years, this story was able to be told in that way. No one could dispute it. And anyone who thought to dispute it was executed. Imagine me falsely putting God and Christ into the lives of every person, and here comes someone blaspheming against it, trying to tell everyone they're being tricked and this isn't right. They would have been hung off the fear of everyone's religion. Off the fear no one knows for certainty if that's their God. The fact that you had to hang on a balance, that someone's life could be taken for the fact of mentioning the same God you're praying to, you just couldn't be high enough to see it. That the fear of you would overpower your faith, causing someone's life to be taken for an uncertainty, because your connection with your God, or this God, wasn't there anyway. Think of that. Think of someone dying because you were scared to hear God's real voice talk to you or not. But someone has to die because you were too chicken to hear his voice. Now, does that sound like God or does that sound like man for that kind of mistake? But don't you see the similarity? That sounds like Christ. Here's the key of Christ: his word. Everyone else had to be taught, had to listen, had to learn. Everyone else had to be taught. Jesus came to teach his word that no one else could teach. So when was it ever not able to be accepted? And yet it wasn't accepted. Why? Because he sounded like he was destroying what they were led to believe. If Pharaoh, oh my goodness gracious, Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ. God, how can anyone dispute and refuse your word, your love and your care? It's too gracious, it's too magnificent, it's too almighty, it's too you. It's to you. Now, I may just say this and get off now because I don't want to just keep people up tonight, and I have a wonderful Sunday. I can wake up and get my day started too. So I do have to say this, and I may just call it a night after that. If Pharaoh this is too much, you guys. I'm too hot. What up, Nene? I am too hot. I have to say this. If Pharaoh, y'all, got to continue to deceive the children of Israel, and Moses not yet intervened, they still would have been led to believe in the gods of Pharaoh and the gods of foreign and the gods of Egypt that would have misled them into believing God was with Pharaoh and his ways of running and controlling Egypt. So they would have been already subdued into the hands of believing in another God. And they would have been that way longer and not been rescued by Moses. See, now that sounds deeper than physical labor. They themselves believed God was a God that would torture, humiliate them, and abuse them, versus give them life, love, and everlasting happiness. They believed this was a God. My point is, if he would have been able to go longer, they would have been submitted to that approval. They would have taught each child to represent God that way. They would have inserted in his holiness that he was a God to treat people that way. And they would have got away with it. The world, Israel, would have been taught this is God. And they would have been taught how to obey that person as God. Is misconduct, is misrepresented, is miseducated, as misunderstood, misdirected, misguided. This is all what this individual has led them to believe, to worship. By force, they would have been born to praise God that would abuse, slave, torture, and treat them like crap, and would have showed the world this is the God that gives them their power. A God that treats them as such. If Pharaoh would have been able to continue. So if you don't see, they were already bred to be subject to a God that treated them already like that. If he would have got to continue, they would have been further led to believe God wanted them to be a people that saw him like that. So that presence was already out there. That identity was already out there. That fact that God would think like that was already present in Egypt. What is it to come back and get it? He's already built it. He's already built it against Jehovah. If he was given more time, he would have been able to execute total acceptance, reverence, and bowing down that this was the God Almighty. And slavery would have had a foundation to call home. And everyone would have been able to get away with treating someone like that. For a time and a half. So, my point is, If that's who they would have believed was God, and he got to continue that, he would have built it. Now you're in it. My reason of saying it is because now, to be mistreated by God like they were, to be misled by God like they were, to be abused by God like they were, and to claim him, our Almighty, it's already in effect. We're already doing that. We're doing it now. God is not God. God is the abuser Pharaoh has led us to believe all this time. It's just it's not Pharaoh anymore. It's Belshazzar. It's Babylon. It's America. It's Lady Gaga. All of these things have been used against us. Because once it got presented to us, God, all it took was a generations and a half to put it in motion. Put the evil torture, the subduance, the wrong guidings. Next thing you know, the next generation has no choice but to accept this is who you worship. Henceforth, God is now able to live, breathe, and answer people as corruptly as he can. It didn't just start. It had to be built. That's what the 400 was. To build it. Now that the 400 is at the brink of completion, pre-revelation, everyone would have been submitted to be used to the endurement. If he presents himself, he will come in the presence of the subduance, of the oppression, of the chains, of the torture. That's who you know. And for him who's torturing you to let you go would be as if he's freed you. But if it's only his hands concealing you, all he has to do is put you back. Because now you would know your place. And he has forged if I say you're free, you're free. If I say you're condemned, you're condemned. He's forged it. See, death can play the biggest counterpart to its own adversary. Because he's the only one doing it. And the fact he himself can turn around and it wouldn't present itself. The safety is only in his hands. In a forward sense, because he's the only one igniting the fire. If he doesn't light a fire today, everyone's house was safe. Now, if he can do that in the form of, I'm God, and the house just caught on fire when it must have been God, it's God's will to do it, and he caught it, but he can present not lighting it the next day. I don't know if he has the power to put it, then he puts it out, then he doesn't light it the next day. Everyone would believe it's because it's the hand and will of God, it didn't light. He can forge his presence by death. Death becomes his miracle. If you see he has death, you'll see his focus would be death. TikTok. Speaking of it, something about being able to control everyone's life at his will, that when he wants to end it, that fear puts you in the place to know by his, don't block it, oh my god, did I just get in trouble again? By his hands it only happened. That's how death is controlled. That's how it's used. And it's just death. That's just a tool he has. That's what makes the war so intentional to pay attention to. Because if he could use death to say he's conquered over your life, and only one person has that control, he can forge and can forge himself to be the creator. Well, not smart. He wants to trick. But for his own looking in the mirror, does he have that? Because even that makes him seem big. He has death. And you look around, all these people been dying every day. Make you go, oh, he has that. But then to know he doesn't, because it's used. It's how he used it. He built it to be against us. But it puts emphasis. Because you gotta now look at someone responsible. And since the devil himself doesn't have it, it's put in his hands. This loose guy running around murdering everyone. And he's not the murderer. He's another host who got to portray it on everyone's life. You gotta see who's doing it. So now this person has been put in control, which is only he who has it himself, death himself, in his hands. He's been put in control. So because he's been put in control, you now got to look at the subject at matter. If it is the skull guy, I'm on TikTok, they'll ban me. If it's the skull guy, right, that'll poke you and you no longer are here anymore, who is that? And what symbol would that represent someone coming to take you away? What power is this Almighty trying to portray? Because right now, if you don't act right, God will strike you down. And that's a known fact to the Holy Father himself. But it's also a known fact, if you don't act right, God will strike you down. So because of that fear and that strike down of death, who is our Heavenly Father trying to teach you? Put no other God but me. Who's God trying to teach you about? Of God that has something only He has Himself. He can use it on me and you, because it'd be deeper than some opponent that's just waving it around, flashing, and you're trying to catch him, take the weapon from his head like little Timmy got that Simmy, right? He, he got that's deeper than that. This person knows what he's doing. He's gonna get, So that's what makes it even worse, because it's who it is as well. You would see that because of the fear of death only does God subdue you. Loving God is the fear for those that love Him. Death has no answer. No one, I don't think anyone fears death because they don't fear God in the sense of losing His love. So it's not the answer to that. God's love is what anyone would fear. Death has that's nothing. So that automatically becomes, the illegitimate trait, because that's not what we agreed to anyway. And because death would be what He threatened us with, God's love, like Yeshua, man doesn't live off, command these, if you be the Son of God, command these stones be made bread. But man doesn't live off bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Father. So because of that being out of what was presented, whether it was bread, whether it was the rock, or whether it was the stone itself, the command itself, the miracle itself, it still was tempted. Why? Because look what's behind it. Because He only has that. He only has death to present. In death, it only had death. There's nothing behind it. You couldn't agree to it. So now who dies horribly for no reason with nothing behind it as an answer? because you have to understand death. And for him to have been the cause of the scene would have had to take place. We're distracted, disguised because of death. In the ultimate way, only one can die is God. Even if the devil's in front of everyone killing them, you know God is the only reason why they died. So because he has it, it automatically puts everything to God, even his actions. So you're actually taking the sacrifice, and God's looking. You're taking the sacrifice, sacrificing it to Jehovah, which would not accept it. You were supposed to dismantle some things, segregate, separate things away from it. Then you can clean it as a dead body. It wasn't the devil you're offering, but because his hands, and you see, was the strict action of death. It wasn't the person. So even bringing it to death, it is presented, sacrificed, is worship and mourned in a different way. It's respected in a different way. Why? Because it goes to the salute of what took it, not the true action of why it lived in the first place. So you're not even worshiping God with your prayers of the dead. Why? Because death. That's what you guys got to get. And because it overwhelms you, the action, it blinds you to even see itself. No one would ever thought their loved one was attacked if the doctor says this sickness took them. If cancer took someone you love, you would have never thought that person was attacked by cancer. Right? Because the years and years stuff, it's a natural sickness, supposedly. But all these things cause it. You get all these warnings and stuff causing it. No one traces it back to that warning everyone read. So it's not natural if something you needed or ate or is dependent on caused it. My point is, no one sees what God has already told you. He can take your life. You, because you're so used to the murderer, the thief, the thug running around, the gangster trying to get you, you think, or the gangster trying to get you, the thug trying to, steal your soul, you looking to blame someone like that. You never thought he himself with a fake army, false prophets, so he would be leading what may be not false, but in his hands are false. Right in front of you, building it right in front of you. That would be the biggest, that would be it. Because he has it to offer. See, now that would change everything. If you thought you were with God, because he's offered, presented everything to you, and yet it was not it, that would be what would have tricked you, because you would have said you were with God. You wouldn't have, it would have never registered the beast, though. The devil was with you. So that's okay. You were checking. And it passed clear. This is God, right? So now that God got you and tricked you, that becomes the new wave. You yourself, you just admit, it wasn't the beast, it wasn't the devil that got you. Right? Who got you? It was God that got you. So that becomes even itself. Why? Because of, look, his word. So now even evidence, whether it's the beast, whether it's the devil, the serpent, no matter, put no other God before me, the false prophet, his word is what led you to think he was going to keep it as a promise to you, holding you, guiding you. And what does he do? So that becomes the illustration. But if God sent himself to you, God is also in front of everyone else. So just because it was, that's another circumcision of death in front of you that catches you deer in the headlight. You can't move, you can't escape, you can't think. All you see is the action coming straight ahead towards you, right? There's no reason to escape if this is it. You didn't know there's so many deceptions, layers of deceptions, evidence of lesion. You didn't get it. But Only because that atmosphere, look at what's so wrong about that. There's no definition that says you have to accept being misled by someone lying. See, it'd be deeper than you can ever imagine. It'd be deeper than some guy. That's why they portrayed the devil to be this guy. So you yourself would look for this person. And it's funny because that's him. But because it's not just him, he can get away with something because he's more powerful than that image that everyone's prepared to face. That just may or may not be him. It is, but it isn't. It isn't, but it is. So that's the only thing I can say. And because he, which unlike Christ, could be portrayed or falsely portrayed or, blasphemed, portrayed, his image actually lives. You can't pinpoint correct and accurate Jesus. But the devil could easily be prophecy. So that becomes that. And he is accurate to their portrayance. It's just, what if they were trying to throw you off themselves? So that becomes even teaching anyway. If you take everything 100%, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Look at 100% joint. I said 100% person named 100% came in here. That's so cool. If you take everything for 100%, that's your fault. Why? Because you didn't look to God. Which isn't, it may have everything been 100%. But how do you know? So that's saying you trust what's in front of you. If you pick up a knife and stab it in your fingers, one of your fingers possibly may be gone. So it's 100% it'll hurt you, versus 100% you would be 100% safe. Take it with God, and it's 100% chance everything is going to be okay, even if you cut it off. So that becomes the difference of thinking of your best friend, thinking of your love, thinking of your father, versus leaving him. Can change a situation just like that. But you have to remember you're being led to this other individual. What's up, Shantae? How you doing? Nice to meet you. Thank you. Yeah, let me say hi to you. I appreciate you for coming. You missed a little bit, sister. I do the Bible. This is the Bible. So, I was just saying, you guys gotta understand. You were led to another God. You were led to a God that may or may not have been, may or may have not have been who the real God is. That's what you guys gotta witness. You were taught a God that may or may not have been the author of the Bible. And if he's trying to deceive you, you guys got to understand he's trying to deceive you. He can't allow, and this is deception. Deception is the Garden of Eden. And if God says everything but this, he can't allow that but this to grow without the temptation of it being consumed. So that can't be planted. That this has to be let alone. He has to plant a way for it to be eaten. So that becomes how he deceives. As to say, think, as simple as don't eat it. Not go eat two at one and be greedy or something like that. Don't eat it. Now, using the same commandment to don't and presenting a different route to it, to go against it itself as the cause. So that's how deep the deception would be. So if God is here to love you, this person would be presenting, hey, let's go against God forget the love he's gonna give you. I'm gonna offer you this love because it'll outlove this love. And once I make sure you're not safe from his love holding you anymore, I give you this false stuff that hurts you, deaf you, all this stuff to you, and you realize you really were with someone who loved you. So it's like that becomes the abomination that gets planted. Because think of what happened when she ate it. Everything but, life and death and being like God happened. You know what I mean? Think about it. So, but he used identically the same commandment God vowed, kept his word, and solemned with Adam and Eve. Identical. So now the identical, he already in the garden used God's words, then put his own. God didn't say eat it. So now to worship him as a form of God, to say you can eat it. That's what she did. You understand? Remember the war. It wasn't punishment. It's now what she was connected to. She listened to him to eat it. So now she was drawn to him. So to say your child and her child have enmity, meaning he's battling the woman, attacking her, and she's attacking him back, crushing his head. But in reality, is what he did to her. Only replaying. And what would her response be, knowing she was tricked too, if she's the mother of all? And that's like a lioness finding out you were tricking her, and you don't think she wouldn't try to eat you once she find out you weren't, her friend. You were trying to harm her, her husband, her cubs, her pride, her young, her home, her house, her relationship with God, her creator, her pride, her rock, her savannah. And it's like, that to me, her Washington State, like that to me is like exactly what happened. And Eve being, think of it, she'd be mightier than him. By far, mother would have destroyed him. But what gave her power away? In fact, she was subdued. Her herself being a mighty under God, if only would have remained on his side, bowing to him, endorsing his power, his submission, his leadership. That's what she became. So she was weakened only because her strength herself became his guidance to her, which equaled nothing. So that's what she developed as her punishment. She became as nothing in the reality of fixing, but not even, it shouldn't have even been about fixing. The decision reduced her to nothing. Why? Because she had multiple strikes. Disobeying God first, going against God, and choosing to not listen to God. Then eating it herself, her husband, her children foundation, where she's supposed to responsibility, the garden, eating the earth, the plants, the fruit, the flowers, the vegetables, everything. The trees, right? Earth, the moon, the animals, the fish, the birds, the spiders, disobeyed everything. So she lost all of it. And then, even now, the devil now. So she was just, there was nowhere she could go but God. So that battle, it became even more relevant because now that battle exists. Mother is who's battling him. If anyone's paying attention, it's mom that's fighting him. That's why mother is that important. And then Adam is the reason why a husband's heart goes so, that's why a husband does hurt his wife, but a wife hurts the husband a little bit more. Because of those results. And there was nothing he could do about it. So that's how the devil worked. He was able to infiltrate. Now, if that same infiltration is in the form of trying to identically present himself, we're already subject to it. Because death is what leads us. All you do is check the fear. He'd have to put the fear in you to even move. But that's his bullseye. So he has to use it. So now, where are you worshiping fear versus this love I described? So that's what's always going to beat it. He's always going to have it attached to him. He's always going to have his hatred, and he's always going to have his love there. So you can't deny God waiting patiently, softly, tenderly, always being there for everybody. With the individual that hates you, because you always are going to have it. He's always going to be there. No matter what he does, he can't take you away. Which sucks. You'll think live your own life. But this person just has to prove he can do something. So he's always going to go against. See what I'm saying? It's a difference. I'm living my life. I made my decision. And I'm here to solidly know God's not someone people are going to reject. You know, if some force, but he's not something people are going to reject. And you got to think, okay, so if God comes to African American as the most handsomest, beautifulest, prettiest, and gorgeousest, finest thing you ever seen in your life, but because he's black and you have a 50% dedication to kill all niggas, racism, to pave the way for our ancestors that hung your ancestors on trees, raped, and burnt them on fire. I want to continue this. So because of this, by force, I can't praise and celebrate and bow God, even if I'm attracted and drawn, even if my whole soul went to him. This racism is so strong, it's a nigger that's this beautiful, wonderful, and amazing. I wouldn't honor him. So that's the difference. And people gotta understand that. You know what I mean? Then you got the people that have no ties to them, and they're gonna bow down to God 100%. But that obligation. So anyway, because now here I am, and you can't accept me because now you're tied to this false congregation that has forced you to hate, deny, and refuse me. So that becomes that. But he's not going to torture and force everyone to have to. If there's people that are already obligated to not love him, even though they don't know him, and didn't meet him, didn't see him, they're already obligated not to. That's the difference. Would he catch them and stuff? Yeah. But he's not here to do that. That's the thing you gotta see. Did he steal your heart? Yeah. But he's not here to force you to change. You know what I'm saying? For sure not. Not because he's here. If you hated him before he's here and you love him now, he'd uttermost want you to hate him. You know. Now, in that, if you work that off, that's a different story. But he for sure doesn't want you to change. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. He wants you to repent. Face it. Everyone's here getting told back and forth, that ain't right, fix it, that is, stupid, like, everything. And here's God, and you wouldn't give him that honor to respect him and who you were. You would just rush to, want him to look at something that wasn't there. But that was, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. He's real and honest like that. That's what you would do. If he did, that's how you would show it. If a racist person and Jesus Christ came and was a nigger, and because he's Jesus, because he's a nigger and he's Jesus Christ, is the reason you felt sorry, that's not a reason to, think about that. All that in front of you, and that's the reason. You wouldn't burn none of that behind there in front of you. None of it. A headache, nothing. You just immediately think of yourself. not the fact he didn't even come there yet, and you had time to renounce all these things. No one would do right. Remember, I'm using black. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason I strictly put an African American in front of it. For now, you thought you'd be saved from one. And if that's the reason why, then that's not the reason. That's not the reason he was Jesus Christ. That's not the reason why you looked at him like that yourself. That's all he's saying, is be real. What makes him so amazing to look at tonight? Verse, you were so happy to say his name yesterday. So that's the exactly, I think, to be saved, okay, from what you just ran from and said you didn't need help. So why am I looking at that as something I need to help? That's what the thing is. You're in front of what, if you rob that bank, I don't care how friendly we are, you're going to have to go back and tell me you robbed that bank. And if that's not okay, it's not okay. You shouldn't have did it. That's the key of your life. That's going to be the war. That's the beef. You ain't going to want to fight with your life. That you yourself just live, did, however it goes. You know, I love that. I'm learning it myself. I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm doing the best that I can do with it. Yeah, so I'm just happy. Yeah. I ain't scared. Nope, we're gonna stop at 2. Zephaniah chapter 1. Like I say, God is, he's coming after those people, and you just gotta know the difference, because the heathen will birth heathen. I'm gonna say that again. The heathen will birth heathens. So if God says, I will destroy the heathen, it can be his children, or it can be the daddy. It can be the mother. It can be grandma and grandpa. It can be the daughter. But the heathen births heathens. Remember that. And if we don't follow the heathen, we don't have to fear that scripture coming to us. If we follow the God, we will be like Moses was when God said, put the blood on the mantle. We will be protected because we listened to him, we followed him, we trusted in him. But the heathen would be the person who didn't put it on their mantle, on their wall, didn't spread it. So that's the difference. And remember that the heathen didn't do it. If you're with God, you would have did it. So you won't fear when he comes to destroy everyone that didn't, or not didn't do it. When he comes to destroy the heathen, you would know you're not that. But you also got to know you're not that, and put it and spread it on yours as well. And he may not ask you to spread the blood. He may ask you just to believe he got you. Just believe you're special. Just believe you're someone important. There you go. That's your way in. You know? So that's what I see with Zephaniah chapter 1. And that's your way in. That's your way out. Seems like when I talk about the Antichrist, the devil, and get back into my speaking. That's when everything go good. I've just been away. All these evil things, man. Like trying to prevent me, and like not trying to give in. I've been like giving in to it and mad at God. I've been the worst mad at God because I've been so upset to my church, y'all. I just dealing with my granny, Camel. Crazy, y'all. My life's been, and I was just trying to be right and be honest and tell the truth, and like everything just went crazy, man. I ain't running from nothing, hiding nothing like that. I just been, cause I am that person. I care and I actually do. It's like it been tearing me apart. Like, dang, I shouldn't have said nothing, girls, in the set. Hey, I should have shut up then on the set. Not said nothing. Kept my mouth closed, quiet, man. But it is what it is, you know. I love her. I loved her. Always love her. And God bless, you know. I've been so. This is how I gotta look at it. No Kakarot, but present this to me. You know what I mean? That's how I gotta look at it. You know, so that's how I gotta see it, man. No Kakarot, but give me this instead. So you know, and it just gets me. I'd be so sick of preaching about this God that's like such and such and such and such. We could just leave Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and guarantee God's hand wouldn't let nothing bad happen to them. And then we keep going, and it's like He want everything bad to happen to us. And no matter how I present Him to you guys, He prefer to be the what we just learned not to be with and praise Him. How to get away from that to find Him. He choose to. So be it. Again, I just wish he was more love and less anger and hate. More love, less anger and hate. I just wish, you know, so. I don't know, cause I don't want nothing. I'm mad, crazy old low. Everything I was just like just talking. I know I was preaching, speaking, and what really get me is when I keep learning this me. That's what hurts me, because even now it ain't even me no more. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, y'all, Kakarot is praying to somebody else, and that's okay. And it's like, that's crazy, right? And it's like, it's weird, because it ain't about me no more. which is sad because I'm the one that got us this far. Remember, if Kakarot didn't say it, not if God didn't write it in the book. I'm just saying, if Kakarot didn't say it, and then the night before, if Kakarot didn't do what he had to come and say he did, if Kakarot didn't say it, we wouldn't have got here. So it was on whether I opened my mouth and said what brought us here anyway. Not preaching, not teaching, not necessarily the lesson, but the lesson, a lesson, the teaching, the preaching, because it was my life. And if I felt I made a decision, if I made a mistake, if I made a sin, as your teacher, as your leader, someone helping, I had to correct mine in front of you, show you how to get through your issues in front of you, show you how to show God is first in your endeavors first, with mine being the example. Then I can help you in yours if I got through mine with him helping. You can see for a fact God helped me through mine. So I can be sure I could help you through yours. And that's how you teach. But to just start pointing out people and problems and issues, and I got my own issues, I thought, wait a minute, I'm sitting there preaching and everything, next thing you know I'm going at it, I might as well tell everyone. It's my attitude, how I saw it, how angry I can get, how happy I can get, all of it. Then I'm going to teach. But I'm the example set. So if I didn't open my mouth, we wouldn't have got this far. For the Bible to understand, a teacher, a preacher, a pastor opened up his truth, told his truth, his word, and indoctrinated, coordinated it, had it recorded and fermented and documented, blessed what I had to say and my responses 24/7 every day. That's what I had to say. That's where it's at. That's what's good. That's what's being blessed about it 24/7. So ain't nobody don't care. I ain't told her to say thank you. I didn't care. That's ignorant. No, you're boy. No, you're not, boy. Listen. Well, yep. Do what your God was about to let you go do. That's not it's not ants. Learn that 3, 2, 3, 8, so what, boy? I know. Shut up. I know. Go ahead. Don't you do it then, boy? I know you better do it. He better do it, boy. You got one of those over there? You got one? You need one? I'm about to do something. I'm just, man. You done told her to be real stank on the set. I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy from a woman. sit here on the set and be with her child, children in the set. They got something to say, cuz, on the set. I be sitting there like, man, these people today, these children, I tell you, and disrespectful. He don't even care. It's like, that's how I am. He think he lying. Try to be the other guy, right? Try to be the other nigga that be lying. Nope. Come out. This is me. With God. That's crazy. Not necessarily my best behavior, but think about it though. God, or God, right? And then I'm cool. Feel me? So like, no, gotta be. I didn't think about that though. Not for that reason, but look at the reason why they. And you know, nope, ain't gonna be able to do it. But thank you, be different. Cause it is two niggas, two, is it one? Is it two or is it one? Is it two or is it 1/8? Is it one or is two? I don't know. One or is two? Is it 1 or 2/8? I know. And he be just happy to say what it is. Come on, God. I look, it's still. Thank you. He had to think about his gun. He had to bring his gun. Yeah, think about his blade. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, for you. No, yeah, what? This nigga got. This nigga got. Snake angel that said, ooh, thank you, Snake. Even Snake. Huh? I said, yep. Hey, yep. Some people don't want it at all, don't want it at all, but they want it at all. They want it at all. They just want to ring bell and they want to hear the sound. And he did, so he ran like a straight. Ooh, you are? Straight on my sack and sack. Alright, y'all, we about to do this here. He no here. Yeah, we're gonna do it that way. We are about to do that like that. Watch this. If it's smelling funky, it does. My nigga, it does. Did it funky? It's funky, it does. Funky, it does. funky. My nigga in the funky, in the funky, in the funky. Come on, man. I didn't ask you that, white. Didn't ask white. Am I still on white? On white. Still. I'm still smoking. They talking about my nigga ate the bud, ate the get low. Ate the 3 for 8. Ate the 3. That's just 3 before I get into 2 to 3. I've been doing $8 better this. Cause I know that's what fuck. Hold on, said I ain't got to figure out roses. Said also don't restart. What's that, bud? I went to jail for that. I ain't doing that. Sorry, not like that. This nigga ain't on the shit. Shit. Yo, man, it said this nigga ain't going nowhere. Ain't going This nigga dumb his ass. I'm talking about, right? Hey, Vigo, you ain't even got my. It's not even on all the way. Oh. The whole time it turned that way. My bad. I was waiting for it to load. I had to swipe. I thought it was off. Dang, this is crazy right now. I gotta keep switching these phones. One phone. Switch this charger. Got like 4. Look at me. I know, try to really think someone like me trying to fuck me. Now he's sitting there. Look at this. Dang, I am weak. So weak, super weak. Say that weak, dang. Hater. Hater, I don't care. Hater and the chick. No.
Tonight's shocking allegations against the city's top cop. Former Detective Russell Poole has filed suit against the department. Poole says he uncovered dirty cops while investigating.
On the radio, they said they think he's a white guy lawyer, and they said, hey, don't talk on the walkie-talkies on the radio. Don't talk on the air.
I just clearly heard somebody say, don't say that over the radio. The person that said that was Caucasian, definitely not African-American.
I know the attorney, David Kenner, always says, don't talk on your cell phone. Somebody listening. They're recording. You can't do that. They're listening to you. I told Dick, I said, hey, was that you on the walkie-talkie? David Kenner goes and says, sure. I never had a walkie-talkie. Wow, he's so bent out of shape, but I was joking about it, right? I said, you never had a walkie-talkie? He said, that's not me talking on the walkie-talkie. I never said he was talking on the walkie-talkie. So Kenner had sent some of my boxes and files to another attorney. He wanted the boxes back. That didn't make sense. So when we discovered a walkie-talkie in the boxes, I said, send me a picture of it. So on my tablet, they can send photos, so they sent me a photo of the walkie-talkie. It blew me away. One part of me, it made my blood boil. Another part of me, I was seeing Tupac face flash off in my mind. I see these motherfuckers involved with assassination. We was blocked in. It was more than one shooter. Only person know the truth, the real truth, is me and Tupac. He's not there to tell it. Only person knows is myself. But Reggie Wright Jr. tried to change the whole story of the narrative what actually happened, and he was not there. Reggie says that it was 5 people in the car. During that situation, Snoop, who everyone knew at the time, wanted Tupac dead.
And it's either the moment you niggas gonna kill me, and we gonna get some clarity in this air. 5.5 hours like this. Sitting in the back of the plane, all the way in the back, I'm the last seat. So, nigga, somebody gonna get killed, nigga. If I'm gonna get killed, somebody dying with me.
Snoop had a meeting with Daz, Corrupt, Nate Dogg, the Dog Pound. Said, we're not going to Vegas. This is their words, not mine. We're not going to Vegas because basically something's going to happen. Somebody's going to get killed, right? So, Corrupt tells the story, Daz tells the story, Warren G tells the story.
And he had this the next tail back then. Remember the motherfucker?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of next tail he had, but he had the motherfucker could go that whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas.
Now what Dad says, when Snoop said that, I said, damn, we can't go to Vegas. We just gonna get those niggas. They already gonna get guys basically. Corrupt tells the story, said once he tells everybody they can't go to the fight, they can't go to Vegas. Turns around, Nate Dogg says, I'm gonna go to Vegas. Yeah, because I'm going to Vegas, I don't gotta be around basically me and Pac. He said, as long as I ain't around them, I don't have to worry about getting shot or getting a stray bullet. And let you know, premeditated plan. Warren G says, when the fight was going on, he was watching at his house. Snoop came over to watch the fight. Snoop had a walkie-talkie. These walkie-talkies, he only got this walkie-talkie that I bought. Security and the principal that security doing security with. And they worked on all the West Coast. So if you're an artist and you go into the mall or you going somewhere, they have a walkie-talkie. Security have a walkie-talkie. If you're not going to an event with any of the security details, you don't have a walkie-talkie.
For some weird reason, Warren G tells the story how Snoop had a walkie-talkie and he could hear what was going on in Vegas the night Pac and them got shot. He told that story on Drink Champs. Not only that, Daz, Corrupt, Badass, all tell the story how Snoop told everybody, we not going to Vegas.
It's really Keefy D and Puffy Combs are the last men standing. They can be held accountable for Tupac Shakur's murder.
Yeah. Hey yo, Snoop, you've been in the love frequency and vibration for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like you pulled me in. You know, when we went on tour. A lot of people don't know me and Snoop been friends from way back when y'all thought it was the East Coast, West Coast beat. That's why one of my friends. I want people to know that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a time that people don't know certain things. And like you've always been there for me, always been my brother. And I just wanted to say I love you on this Easter, man, because all the love you give to everybody else, you make the world a better place. Get up on the floor.
I love you more today than I did yesterday. You understand me?
Shoot Biggie to his death.
All it was is a Puffy and Suge Knight war.
When I sat down with Valletta, we briefly brought up Sean Combs. It was clear to me that she had no real respect or appreciation for him. Sean clearly didn't do all that he could have done to help out the investigation. In fact, he was a hindrance in the investigation. Puffy was kind of stonewalling people from talking because he knows if you make inroads on Biggie's murder, you're going to make inroads on Tupac's murder. They tried to get me to not like Puffy and Biggie while I was in the middle of the Death Row Bad Boy feud. And I made a choice that I had no issues with them. I said I'd do a song. I want to do a song with them niggas. That's how I ended. I said I ain't got no issues with Puffy and Biggie. I want to do a song with them niggas.
There was a news report that Suge Knight had threatened Snoop Dogg, seen here together in happier days. Snoop apparently is now frightened for his life. We wondered if this document had anything to do with it. After a concert at Universal Studios, Snoop Dogg was attacked, kicked and punched by people working for Death Row. When asked by one of the deputies if he knew who had killed Tupac Shakur, Snoop said it was the man sitting next to Tupac. When asked if he meant Suge Knight, Snoop replied affirmatively.
Based on the witnesses that I've interviewed and the evidence, I believe that, Suge Knight ultimately called for the hit.
And you said Police Chief Bernard Parks stopped you from investigating further because LAPD police officers were involved with Suge Knight.
Well, that's correct, yes. He was, it's several factors why he didn't want this pursued to the fullest extent, and one being the fact that his own officers were involved.
What did you actually hear? What was the words? Is the best you can remember what he says?
Shit, he said he didn't care was anything when he was there, you know?
Did you get anything for these guys' head?
He said in front of all the people, I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whole movie was great.
So this is after Jake got killed. So he was on the plane. He was worried about something happening.
Yeah.
So he had wound off about a bunch of different stuff, so he was scared.
I was scared to death, yeah.
Okay.
A few months later, at Greenblatt's Deli, KZD claimed that Puffy Combs furthered the solicitation.
What happened that made it something other than just him frustrated and boasting? Now, you guys anything, what made it a specific, like, hey, I'm serious, I want you guys to kill these guys?
He told me to read back.
How's it go? How's the conversation go? I mean, okay, listen, I'll do it, but I need $500,000, or, I've got somebody who will do it, but I need $300,000. We need really specific details regarding that.
Yeah, we want $1 million.
You said he walked downstairs. He said, come meet me downstairs.
Yeah, he come on downstairs and talk.
He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. I'm just looking at you in the eyes. It's like scary.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, the specific reason he asked you to come downstairs and talk to him was about that thing, not about liquor, or it was about that. You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. He agrees to shake on or something like that. What happened?
Like, man, we'll wipe your ass out quick, it's nothing.
About a million dollars, $1 million.
Shit, yeah. Yeah, we want $1 million. Yeah, we want $1 million.
Yeah, so Snoop comes in, according to Warren G, and he got this big walkie-talkie. They start using the gunshots when we getting shot. Snoop listening to it in real time. Pow, 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 all over the radio. That's when he tell him, hey, I gotta go. He just killed Tupac and shot too. How would you know?
It's from my mouth to God's ear. The nigga said, this nigga Snoop keep calling me. But I heard that nigga's in Miami. This came out Big's mouth.
Hey, is it true that when Biggie was in LA, Snoop, he kept calling him for his location? Who? Snoop. Like when Biggie was in. Well, listen, where does this information come from? Hey, that's your man. I never heard this in all 25 years. Hey, I've been doing interviews. I never heard that. Hey, your man's Gene Deal said that, yo.
Can't listen to everything Gene Deal said.
They did, do something on the Steve Harvey show, if I'm not mistaken, right? When they was in LA.
We talked about that, man. We talked about that, but that ain't got nothing to do with Big. What that got to do with Big?
I mean, he don't got nothing to do with Biggie, but I mean, it's still bad boy, affiliation, right?
It's not bad boy affiliation. That's Puff and Snoop affiliation.
Stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that. We stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one. You know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
Well, that's what we came in for. We came in to lock up the body up. We made it.
Bad boy artists working with a death row artist or aftermath artist. Like when he's up here, I don't get my seat up nobody. Maybe Mike Irvin, because he's up here. But I let Snoop sit in the seat because I thought the picture of Snoop and Mace at this That's for Our brand was just big. I sat in the seat to cheer him because people don't know the history and people don't know but actually.
Yeah, you're not supposed to ever see them together.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't get my seat up. But that was, to me, that's what I saw when I was looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
And if you look back at that show, I didn't say much, right? So there's a little backstory. When we did this show in LA at No Doubt,
talk so much. How you need to motherfucker here? They got something to do. Yeah, fucking New York.
Snoop shitting on Biggie. How does that make you feel? It's propaganda for the media, bro. That's something that sounds good for the media. You know, I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that's showing love. I'm the one that's out here. Everybody else is dead. You know what I'm saying? Wishing that I could have did something to put the shit together. But when you in fear for your life because you put your cover over your head with the fork in your head because you wanted to, you know, because you was riding on the plane with Pop, and if it was all that love, you wouldn't have to do that, right?
Not only did Reggie Wright Jr. meet with Dre, who was supposed to be in the back seat of the car with Orlando, and have a meeting about doing distribution for him.
This is what does it say? The same circle of people. If you solve one, you solve both. Suge said if you solve Tupac's murder, then you'd solve Biggie's murder because it's the same circle of people, the same people that did it. So they putting it together. This is part 3. Part 1, part 2. This is part 3. It may be a part 4 come up next. Who knows? But this is part 3.
For his compilation album that he did with Snoop, and Warren G, I think Trady.
It wasn't all that love until Pop was dead. Wasn't Big out in California 3-4 weeks and Snoop never saw him? Snoop never came to smoke nothing with him? Snoop never came to eat nothing with him? But it was a whole lot of love. Come on, man.
You gotta ask yourself one question. Why haven't these cases been solved? One reason that they were well orchestrated, well planned out, radios being used, communication, had to be experienced people doing this, which would lead you to believe that experienced police officers knew exactly what to do.
Russell suspected police officer David Mack of orchestrating and organizing the hit using scanners and radios that were later found in his house. Officer Rafael Perez, Officer Mack's former partner and best friend, he was convicted for the sale of drugs, racketeering and falsifying evidence. Officer Kevin Gaines, who was having an affair with Suge Knight's wife Sharita, who was later killed by a fellow LAPD officer in a road rage incident.
In the backseat, I was right there.
And what did you see?
I just seen the car just roll up and just start shooting in there. One dude in the car by himself. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting outside the window. I was looking out the window and the car just rolled up, stopped right there. On the angle, I just started shooting in the car. He only shot through big door. This was something that whoever did it, they had to see all that. They had to plan it, you know, because it happened too good. And it was police out there. They shut the party down from a fire drill, so it was police there.
The most amazing thing in this whole story is that Officer David Mack and Officer Rafael Perez have never been questioned in connection with the Biggie Smalls murder. Neither has Harry Billups, aka Amal Mohammed, who we tried to contact through his lawyer. These are FBI photos. The amazing thing is that Biggie and Puffy were under surveillance at the time of the murder. So did you see the FBI?
Yeah, I saw them, and after the Biggie death, you know, I had spoke to a couple of police, and I saw a couple of pictures that they had when they was watching us. They were showing me pictures of me, asking me, who is that? I'm telling them that's me. And they asked me, who is that? That's Biggie's best friend, D-Lo. So they were showing us pictures when they was following this and that. They were showing old pictures that, you know, that was in this house.
There's a lot of things that you're saying today about Death Row and about Suge and about who committed murder or who could have been involved that are 100% factually wrong, and it's documented.
Called it a false flag operation, and I don't see how you could call it anything else, especially if it's true that Reggie Wright Jr. was informing for the FBI and the LAPD. Was he also informing for Vegas? I mean, this is Knight's right-hand guy, and he's straight up snitching to law enforcement.
Can't go nowhere, so.
You're maintaining your innocence.
I'm maintaining my innocence.
been evident the feds were watching the whole time. The Kenner and Snoop walkie-talkie situation, real questionable. And Snoop and Diddy acting like they've been best friends ever since everybody thought it was an East Coast versus West Coast war. That is some real snake shit. Look, we all know the media's East versus West rap war was pure propaganda, but Knight and Puff, they had a real dangerous beef. Knight paid millions of dollars to clear Snoop's murder case, and Snoop still wasn't loyal. When you think about that, we know damn well he didn't have any loyalty towards Pop. It makes you wonder, did Snoop team up with Puff to take out Pop?
Bitch.
It definitely seems like his loyalty was always with Puff. And did Puff really drop $1 million on the hit? Think about it, 1096. $1 million cash to the streets wasn't just pocket change. It was an astronomical amount of money. Someone had to greenlight that kind of bag without the feds tracing the paper trail. Now, I've also heard the theories that Pac possibly had issues with the JBL, but that's a whole different rabbit hole within itself. The bottom line is, Knight has said more than enough to get some real investigations going. But when you look at the board, there are so many informants in this case, you just know protection deals are in play. I'm almost sure Reggie Wright Jr. is protected. He literally had leaked calls with the feds where an agent is on tape telling him, I'm trying to protect you. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see what's going on here. Then you've got Greg Caden, who definitely seems like the cleanup guy. He's out here doubling down on Reggie's lies and acting like zero corruption was involved, pushing the story that Orlando Anderson was the shooter over and over again. But when Reggie's own leak call with the Fed puts the whole narrative on blast for lying, it shows the feds know the Orlando Anderson story is total bullshit. And that is what makes me think the feds had a hand in it. One thing we can be absolutely certain of, they let it happen. What investigation could possibly be so important that federal agencies just sat back and watched as high-profile superstars were taken out? If they were watching the whole time, who were they really trying to protect? Was it the music executives, or were they shielding their own highly placed informants inside the building? I truly think it's deeper than people think. The layers of deception, the federal surveillance, and the conflicting narratives all point to a much larger cover-up than the mainstream media ever wanted to admit. Thank you so much to all the subscribers.
Bitch.
Seriously, your support is what keeps this channel going, allows us to dive deep into these files, and helps us keep questioning the official stories. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next drop, and let me know your exact thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.
I don't know what else to watch right now, so I'm gonna call it a night. In my live, I appreciate you, DJ. I'm gonna fuck with you. Appreciate